Just chatting. I ain't playing shit. I won't play nothing. Gonna be now. Just acting dumb. Let me play some music. My shit. Well, Suno. Suno? Just try seeing pilots together moments, and it's life. It's a weird time to be alive. What do you do? Hop in chat. Shout out to the Taco Bell fam. I don't know if they're watching. Counters. I don't know if it does. People just they do what they do, you know. It's a Wonderful Life. Really? Typo paper. I'm not playing licensed music, guys. Sorry. It's not that, Do you guys know there's a copyright system on YouTube? Like, I'm not trying to sound like a... Not trying to sound like a little smarty pants here, but, That's why I use AI music for the channel. Can't get dinged for, get dinged for copyright. Oh well, it pinged two things. It pinged some like trance type, the stuff with the red background that's on the channel. But all the music is literally just made for what we're doing now. Background of gaming videos, editing, stuff for my other job. None of your business. You can go on Suno and grab it, use it, play it, put it in the background of your stuff. I mean, I don't think I own the rights to it. It's technically a part of the public domain. But I pay for the premium Suno. Like the premium tier subscription. I think it's worth it. And everyone says, "Oh, well, it's not." And I'm not discounting that argument, but this whole it's not real music. That's fine. That's fair. Completely valid. But I would argue 80% of the bands coming out on TikTok these days are just literally trying too hard. And I'm not going to name names because that'd be really stupid to sit here and make AI music and talk shit about another real artists. But we're not going to sit here and act like people aren't chasing trends. That just kind of annoys me. So, it is what it is. I'm not here to make music. I'm here to stream. I'm here to game. I'm learning how to use Blender right now. I want to make, I don't know, I got some ideas cooking. Let me cook. Alright. And we'll get there.
The frontier.
But,
will be compelled into the dark.
yeah.
The frontier is vast.
Vast. It's vast. Very vast. Can't play that. Because I don't own that one. What's going on with the YouTubes?
Free breakfast? Now that's a steal. When Cone Health says, we make it easy to feel better, we deliver. Seriously. Cone Health Community Pharmacy delivers prescriptions right to your door. Sign up for free delivery at conehealth.com/pharmacy.
But also in the speedrunning community. And as recently as a couple of years ago, you even had people breaking that world record speed time. The multiplayer mode was the first time that I ever got introduced to the concept of screen cheating, and kids these days might not understand this, but this really was the kind of thing that could legitimately end friendships. It also set a new standard for bad guns with the Klobb submachine guns, a weapon that is so weak that I think you'd actually be better off using it to try to bludgeon your enemies to death instead. GoldenEye was also the first Bond film that I ever saw in the cinema, and I sure was pretty lucky that my first theatre experience with the series was arguably one of the best films in the entire franchise. If for no other reason than just seeing Famke Janssen giving off the kind of performance that I think kickstarted puberty for every young boy that happened to see it. And the game off the back of that is just a really good, faithful adaptation of the film, which was something that was pretty rare for movie tie-ins. I mean, look, just 2 years prior to this, we'd had the Batman Forever game, and I don't think I need to tell you how that went. There's the opening mission on the dam with 006, there's the level where you're chasing after Natalia in that tank, even down to that fight against Xenia in the jungle. She always did enjoy a good squeeze.
She always did enjoy a good squeeze.
Clubs aside too, the weapons were also pretty fun to use. A generous auto-aim system made it feel like you're actually a pretty decent shooter, and mowing down a swarm of enemies with the KF-7 felt really satisfying. The gunplay also owes a lot of how solid it feels, I think, to some really good enemy animations. Combined with those funny looking faces is where it looked like they were all suffering from extreme bowel discomfort. I know how they feel. I don't really look at GoldenEye as just a straight out shooter. I mean, look, it's definitely got a lot of shooting, but it's really more of a puzzle game, with each level often having a solution you need to figure out. Shooting weapons willy-nilly might work for some levels, but you're more likely to run out of ammo. And it's also highly likely that you might accidentally shoot an innocent NPC, causing a mission failure. In some of the stealth missions, firing guns is a big no-no, because certain weapons would make more noise than others, which in turn would attract more guards, which in turn would make the mission harder. Depending on the difficulty mode you're playing on, each level's going to have a bunch of objectives you've got to complete, and some of these aren't really obvious either. A perfect example of this is the level in Statue Park, where you've got to meet up with 006. After you first make it to the spot you're supposed to meet him, he'll then only show up if you've got your weapon holstered.
Yes, it's me again. It's the time for empowerment, and I've got a message for you.
A new Planet Fitness is now open near you, and you can join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. We're talking a clean and spacious, judgment-free zone and brand new equipment. Join today.
Now open in Mount.
And if you move too close to him at any point during his dialogue, he'll freak out and then run off, failing the objective. During the mission where you're escaping the archives with Natalia, if you use your fists instead of a gun, you can get through the entire level without guards spawning in, which makes the whole thing a lot easier. These might be the kind of things that sound obvious when you hear it out loud, but they're not always apparent the first time you play the game, and it made it more than just shooting everything and finding your way to the exit. This is also a very hard game. GoldenEye becomes really challenging from about 3 or 4 missions in, and it doesn't ever really let up. I never managed to beat this thing on Double Agent as a kid, but if you managed to do so, it'd unlock a secret level in an Aztec temple, ending in a boss fight against none other than Jaws, Richard Kiel himself. Definitely shows its age in a lot of ways, and if someone was to play this thing for the first time in 2021, well, you'd probably not leave with the best impression. But there's one thing this also has, which is something we lack in a lot of modern games, and that's a soul. Even from its opening credit sequence, which introduces all of these characters. Every aspect of this game feels lovingly crafted, and it's so rare, no pun intended, to see this kind of thing in games all that much anymore. There's been attempts at remasters, with one even being leaked online recently. There's fan remakes, and even a proper remake by big developers, which we'll talk a bit about later on. But trying to catch that lightning in a bottle twice, well, it ain't no mean feat. I do also genuinely believe that if it got released on the PC back in the 90s, it would have gone down as one of the best games for the platform. As such, we just have to make do with it being a 64 game. The main detractor with this one, I think, is that it's a game made in 1997 that feels like a game made in 1997. But I also feel that complaining about this thing for being old and a product of its time is like complaining about chess only having black and white pieces. Overall, I'll just say it's a highly influential title, lovingly based off one of the best Bond films on one of the best consoles ever released. And as a starting point for this video, well, it's raised that bar pretty high. But there's no point in living if you can't feel alive, right? Well, the next game we got is The World Is Not Enough in the year 2000, developed for the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation. And both of these games are actually pretty interesting because a lot like with what happened later on with Nightfire, you've got 2 completely different versions here. And while both of these do follow the film somewhat faithfully, they're still completely different games from one another. The Nintendo 64 version was developed by Eurocom, who we're going to be talking a lot about in this video. And then meanwhile, the PlayStation version was developed by Black Ops Entertainment. And if I had to pick a better one out of the 2 of these, I think I'd say the Nintendo 64 one edges out as the better one, but that's like really asking if you'd rather be kicked in the nuts with a desert boot or a wingtip.
It looks that way.
Overall, both of these games kind of remind me of GoldenEye, just with the problem that neither of them were really able to capture the same magic. And it follows along some pretty familiar mechanics and missions, so you can expect a return of those various escort quests, along with trying to make sure you don't harm innocent civilians in the crossfire. There's no checkpoints, no healing items, maybe 1 or 2 pieces of armor per level if you're lucky. And if you fail the crucial mission objective, you have to manually restart the mission yourself. There's no game over screen here, just an obnoxious mission failed message that lingers on the screen. Again, like GoldenEye, it's done its best in most cases to recreate the scenes from the movie.
Can't you just say hello, like any normal person?
Can't you just say hello like a normal person?
Head for the gully. I'll lead them away. Go!
Head for the gully. I'll lead them into the trees. Go, go.
I'm looking for a submarine. It's big, black, and the driver is a very good friend.
Seeing all of these scenes recreated in Engine 2 is also pretty damn funny. They've used the likeness of all of the actors, but pasted it onto these blocky, chunky looking character models. Robbie Coltrane, though, still somehow looks exactly like he did in the film, though, which I don't know if that's an insult to Robbie Coltrane or a compliment to the game's artists.
Me too.
You've got that cool shootout inside the mines, the ski chase, which is now a mostly on-rail sequence, and a shootout inside a subway station that reminds me a lot of the opening level from Soldier of Fortune. You've even got a very similar looking shotgun and a silenced MAC-10. It's kinda dope. Being able to use all of Bond's gadgets is a lot of fun too, and they can actually be equipped now. You've got his multi-purpose watch, which works as a laser, a tranquilizer dart gun, grappling hook, and even a birth control device. The shooting is semi-smooth and responsive with a handy lock-on system, making it feel less clunky. Still though, let's not forget that this is a 5th generation video game, and that also comes with some 5th generation video game bullshit. For starters, some of the missions in this game are just downright sadistic, and I think to even beat some of these on the high difficulty modes, you need to get
Without a doubt, my favourite genre of games are stealth games. Infiltration unrecognised by the target is so satisfying. Moving into a facility or area you shouldn't be, whether it's by utilising the shadows or hiding in plain sight, and doing it in my own time provokes a feeling inside me I can't quite explain. So as a fan of games where my objectives are covert operations, stealth assassinations, or anything ending in Asians, I regularly look up which other titles could fulfill the criteria, new and old. Upon googling stealth games, disappointingly you would be met with a few expected results. The big hitters such as Splinter Cell, Hitman and Metal Gear Solid, but with little scrolling you realise that the landscape for games centred around stealth is limited. There are many games with stealth elements, however they are not fit to exercise proper stealth operations.
What game is
These games don't adhere correctly to what is required in stealth. For example, NPCs in Far Cry 5 will not be treated with the same care or mechanics that of an NPC in Splinter Cell. This is crucial for a more realistic and satisfying stealth experience, as navigating an enemy-filled area with guards whose detection abilities are designed to function across an entire game, where explosive combat is forefront, results in frustration for players who know that motherfucker wouldn't have seen them. But because your arse cheeks were an inch exposed from the barricade, the in-game mechanics detect you. Also on the list is Ghost Recon Wildlands. This game does offer opportunities for stealth, even its follow-up game Ghost Recon Breakpoint adding the ability to smear your body with mud as camouflage. With this, you would think the game mechanics would cater towards a more tactical, stealth-oriented experience, but that's not the case. With the option to also go loud combined with the clunky flow of the games, it's hard to include these Ghost Recon titles.
Gotta make the originals.
Or perhaps this says more about Ubisoft.
How hard would it be to
Assassin's Creed also
remaster the
strays further
originals?
from this category with each release. Yet the series is best known for things like The Hidden Blade, Slick Assassins, and Careful Infiltration. The series is dubbed as stealth action, yet it is perfectly encapsulated by this article that reads,
Man, if y'all see my stocking, I got some candy, and I really want to eat my candy. I can't find my candy.
and its core. So, my condolences Assassin's Creed, but it doesn't feel right that we invite you to this stealth sleepover. Now, with two more major franchises removed from our list of games people consider stealth, the question this video title poses becomes all the more capitalized in bold text. What happened to stealth games? Let's focus on the game series that does embody the features we're looking for. Splinter Cell. Somebody mentioned stealth games, this series probably maneuvers its way into almost everyone's minds. The earlier titles like Chaos Theory, which a lot of people consider to be the best offering in the series, provide you with the accurate mechanics and atmosphere for stealth. When you're moving through the dark shadows, you're in the fucking dark. The patrolmen, while short in numbers compared to, say, a Far Cry outpost with 10 plus ops to shank, are tough to evade, forcing you to improve your tactical approach, boosting the satisfaction of reaching the next checkpoint. The locations are well designed and layered with levels to them. Like you've just entered an unfamiliar landscape, they can feel dangerous and your objective carries weight. And nothing gets me going more than the boot up noise for the night vision goggles. This takes us to Splinter Cell, Conviction and Blacklist, the newest entries in the series that didn't quite prolong the positive qualities of its predecessors, venturing into action set pieces and an overall tonal shift. These games are still kind of cool, to be honest, and while I definitely missed the vibe of the older games, sincerely these were better than nothing, and the stealth elements at their cores were still present. And it would seem that a lot
what's
of
going
people
on?
agree, while also a number of people
What it
disregard
do?
these entries as anywhere near the level of polish.
It's going pretty good.
And that's fine.
Taking a break.
Or maybe not,
Tired.
because due to failure of meeting sales expectations, peaking at around 2 million copies sold, Blacklist stands as the final game released in the franchise to date. 11 years later. Do you know how many things have taken place in 11 years? 2 console generations have passed. 12 Call of Duties have come out. Fortnite was birthed, played, and rinsed for all its worth within this time period, and a myriad of its copycats. And they couldn't squeeze out one little Splinter Cell game. They couldn't have just culled one out for us. In over a decade, the Splinter Cell water tap has been dry. Us fans just hoping to see even a drop. I get it. The gaming industry is a huge moneymaker, and it truly is all
Guess the
about
flag
money.
right there.
If something doesn't sell well and allow them to smell the profit from the money well, us fans would need a magic spell to get a new Splinter Cell. Aside from the financial
Need
aspect,
to
I was pondering the
stretch
potential reasons for them
out.
not picking up the franchise again. With microtransactions appearing in everything, maybe they just aren't confident in how they could be included and more profit could be edged out, given that Splinter Cell is more of a single-player experience.
There we go.
They can't quite throw in a battle royale, although let's imagine that for a moment. A 100-player free-for-all, where the components of the map are geared towards stealth. Spitballing ideas like this with mates is what sometimes riles me up even more. If a couple of randies like us can drum up a few ideas that instantly make me wish they were part of a game, then surely the execs behind these titles could find someone who also can. That's not to say the stealth battle royale is an idea that I want, it just exemplifies my point that there is a lot of room to play with ideas when it comes to this series. Hell, take a couple minutes and comment any idea, big or small, that you think could make Splinter Cell even cooler. Or any stealth game for that matter. I bet you'll have at least one idea that sounds dope and probably could be executed in a game. This video shouldn't be transformed into one centered just on Splinter Cell. I wanted to emphasize the wasteland that is the stealth genre of games. We've had a few series brewing over the years, some with a consistent spot in the market like Hitman, whose games have increased in popularity with each release. Metal Gear Solid, with the upcoming Delta, a remake of 3 that looks promising, and some others over the last decade like the Dishonored games that get a lot of praise for the ability to offer stealth.
I'm not playing any. Are you?
Like the Watch Dogs series and the Far Cry series, the more recent Ghost
I'm watching
of Tsushima
YouTube.
and the beloved Batman Arkham series.
I think you know that.
2014, Thief 4
Or if
hit
you
small
didn't.
shelves and failed to make its mark as intended, supposedly not living up to its earlier
You
game
might be a
and
bot.
garnering a
Oh,
lot
no.
of hate. Cyberpunk has apparently got various ways in which players can progress covertly. The Deus Ex games too. But I'm not trying to derail the subject of this video.
Oh, okay,
by
I was
listing
just
a bunch
making
of
sure.
actual stealth games. My point stands.
Sorry,
that
you seemed a
stealth
little-
has seemingly vanished.
seemed a little
Yet
body.
highlighting that stealth is sneaking its way into many a game, but
But
as
it's all
an
good.
or addition that isn't properly nurtured. Crouch, hide in bush, wait for enemy to pass, kill enemy, progress. It proves that game studios realize people do enjoy having the option for stealth, but won't fully commit to
I guess technically I could be watching YouTube on a console.
Point. Why make an excellent stealth game that will only sell 1.5 million copies when you can make a generic action game that will sell 4 million? Are we really just a smaller minority of players who want this? I mean, bruh, at least give it a try. Drop something. Drop Conviction 2 if you have to. Maybe it won't even be worth it. Maybe they would never put the right effort and time into a stealth game to deliver what we're actually after. I mean, shit,
Yeah, I
the
think
game
the
changed
genres I'm
so
saving
much
for a
since
good
the last Splinter
PC.
Cell release. There were rumors circulating about a new
There's a
game
lot of really good
that
financing
was around
options out there.
2021.
I know a lot of people are very
3 years
weird
ago,
about
and it's been dead silent
the
ever
world of
since.
credit,
I even wrote a
but
Splinter Cell movie at that
if you're not, and to be quite
After all
honest,
this time, boy,
with
they
the
all want.
writing on the
Like where
wall,
Sam Fisher went, instead you can watch Ryan Gosling play at it. We're in an age of remakes and reboots. And I
you know,
did
nobody's gonna
read
kick your
about
door
this
down
Splinter
for a
Cell
$2,000
remaster
PC
of the first
if you go
game set to be
delinquent.
development, which once again,
You just won't be able to get a loan for a little bit.
but what about everything else? Where
It's
are the
fixable.
new and original games? The answer to the question in the video can be looked at in many ways.
But hey, if you
Personally,
tuck
I like
away
to
a couple
simplify
hundred
things, and
for
I
a
can't help but
PC,
assume money is the main
um,
reason. Studios
you can
want
just
that
as well
next biggest
make a
game,
payment on
that
one,
cash cow
pay
that
same as
pulls in the
cash. That's
largest
what I did for mine.
customers. Stealth games are probably
I think I
not
paid
that.
just under
Still,
2
I
for
keep
mine.
my fingers crossed for something to creep out
What do
of
you
the
do for a
shadows and
living?
surprise me.
Well,
Please do suggest
in between
any
jobs
stealth
right
game
now.
worth playing, and
My
thank you
full-time
for
job.
watching.
Consider the subscribe button as your primary objective. Press it.
Really fucking loud. But I work I do social media for a home healthcare agency. But
Imagine a revolution.
I don't pull in a lot of money doing that.
That makes
Pretty easy work.
the old face drop.
And I got pretty good at
Gorgeous. And
social media-ing.
lost it.
So I started all these social media accounts. Started a YouTube channel, all this stuff. Now here we are. Where we at? 70-some subs, couple on Twitch, couple on Kick. We've been streaming like overall, not even 2 months.
Bombshell ready to explode. One
I don't know. I did it as a hobby.
makes
Well,
you
I am
hot.
doing it as a hobby. I shouldn't say that. But I needed a healthy distraction from the fact that I got let go.
Is the beauty. premieres January 21st.
So this is the
on
week I
FX,
got
Hulu,
fired.
and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundles.
What happens when a game releases and then years later it gets unreleased or delisted? This is something that happens surprisingly quite a bit, with digital storefronts just dropping games from time to time for various different reasons. And it's really weird. Now, in the past, we've explored a lot of games that have been shut down, but today we specifically want to take a look at
But Maine, yeah, that's an interesting.
because surprisingly
My whole
enough,
family's
there's
from
a lot
New
of
England.
games that have
Very
been removed
interesting.
from various digital storefronts. And while most of this video won't focus on live service games, I just want to point out Anthem, a game that's
I
supposed to
am
be a
not
really big
taking.
deal, was in
Please
development
don't
for
come into
8
my
years,
chat
then
and promote.
released and then got abandoned. Officially delists January 2026.
I respect the grind,
So that's
but
very, very soon.
it's like every other engagement at this point.
Now, I do have to point out, Anthem
And as
was
previously
very,
mentioned,
very
I do
hyped
work
early
in
on.
the realm of graphic design, so I'm pretty stacked. I wish you well. I wish you success. Which services are not needed, and I appreciate it. But I'm happy to have a chatter and a fan. Fan's a yucky word. I don't like that word.
Okay. Yeah. New IP.
How about a friend? What's that line from
Finally,
Lord of the
fans
Rings?
Destiny had a different option to kind of
I
scratch
can't
that
remember
same
it.
type of itch. And Anthem does look ambitious from the early reveals. In this video, I was only going to give a passing mention to Anthem, but then I fell down this rabbit hole, and it is something else. I found a YouTuber named Astro Tater who went to the Anthem midnight launch, and there is some gold in this video, all
Astro
things considered,
Tater.
knowing what we know now about how Anthem turned out.
Yeah, okay, I played the beta. You played the beta? Is it seem like a lot of fun? It does. The gameplay is really smooth. The only, there were server
It's
issues.
literally Warframe, but you get to pay for it.
The gliding, because that's the biggest thing.
And I base this on absolutely nothing. I've played neither game. I've played a collective hour of both of them combined. Not kidding. I really can't stress this enough. I do not understand the appeal of.
It's so satisfying. Moving into a facility or
Oh, where'd that 989 video go? Tragedy of 989. How Sony killed it. I mean, 989 probably was the only company that was giving, what was it, EA money, or EA run for their money on sports games. But this game right here, that IP, Siphon Filter, it's criminal what they've done to that IP, and the fact that we haven't received another entry in, it's like, it's been a hot little minute. It's been a while, actually. But what do you do? He hates Peanut. Good, because I can't stand Dr. Disrespect. It's very clear he's operating under the "oh, just give it time, everyone will forget what I did" mantra. And what's sad is it's starting to work for him. Man, I never would have imagined a world where FPS Russia, Woody's Gamer Tag, and Sam Hyde do content together. What a time to be alive. It wasn't died, it was murdered.
This winter break, stay warm and cozy while furthering your education with Sophia Learning. For only $99 a month, access 70+ college-level courses designed to transfer for credit. Sign up today.
Do you remember Medal of Honor? It was an extremely popular game franchise in the early 2000s that laid the groundwork for Call of Duty and its lasting reign on the FPS genre. A franchise that defined what a modern first-person shooter should look like, and then vanished, never to be seen again. Well, what happened to it? This is the story of how Medal of Honor went from one of the best FPS franchises of all time to being nearly forgotten. The first Medal of Honor game came out in 1999, but it wasn't developed by an experienced game studio like Activision, EA, or any of the other major AAA players. Instead, it was a passion project taken on by filmmaker Steven Spielberg. At the time, it was surprising for someone like Spielberg to take an interest in video games, as most of Hollywood looked down on the industry as a lesser art form. However, Spielberg had never agreed with Hollywood's elitism and saw the potential of the medium. In the 1980s, he had assisted in the development of Atari's E.T. game, and also with the writing for a game called The Dig in 1995. It went well, and throughout the rest of the 90s, he would continue to collaborate with studios like LucasArts and EA to build compelling narratives for their games. And with each title, his desire to create his own game only grew stronger. These little projects were fun, but Spielberg wanted to create a blockbuster title that would break down barriers in the industry and inspire developers everywhere.
Sure.
He had dipped his toes in the industry with these little projects, but he was a long way from being able to launch and fund his own game. The studios that he worked with respected and liked him, but that didn't mean that they would throw money at every single idea that he had. He was a talented and ambitious filmmaker, but he had little idea on how to bring his plans for a video game to life. But that would soon change. In 1994, Spielberg would take a break from filmmaking to create his own studio, co-founding an animation company called DreamWorks. DreamWorks wasn't meant to focus only on safe and profitable projects. The studio embraced the experimental and served as a way for Spielberg to do basically whatever he wanted to do, including video games. Although DreamWorks allowed for the creation of a game to be possible, there were still quite a few barriers. They were a young, untested studio, a film and animation studio, not a game developer. So while it attracted a wealth of talent, it didn't have the expertise required to develop an ambitious game. If Spielberg's vision was to get off the ground, he needed help. And in 1995, he finally caught the big break that he needed. DreamWorks and Microsoft partnered to create a joint game development studio called DreamWorks Interactive. Once DreamWorks Interactive was up and running, Spielberg quickly called a staff meeting to pitch his idea. He wanted to create the ultimate World War II first-person shooter, a game that would be equally educational, thrilling, and fun. But unfortunately, corporate executives were immediately skeptical. They thought World War II themed media was unpopular and that the project seemed too strange and unmarketable. Again, this was well before the days of impressive online war games like the sponsor of today's video, World of Warships. World of Warships is a game that I've played for a while now, and I love it. In this game, you command a massive naval fleet that spans 500 plus ships from over 10 different nations to battle other players on the